Now comes marriage number 3. Marriage number 3. The final. Now this one was, it was just one thing led to another, one thing led to another. To give you a timeline, a very short timeline, my third marriage was, if you check my video on the fake degree racket, okay? When I worked for this guy, for the fake degree racket, and when I reported him to the police and all that, what he did is he tried to get me falsely banned from UAE, okay? So he took all my money, he took everything, tried to destroy my life, and I was left with nothing and nobody. Now, I had to literally cling on to whomsoever I could get. And when you have nothing and nobody, you just grab onto whatever you can. And that was where I grabbed onto this one girl who I once dated, who was going to be my third wife, but I never thought at that time. This girl was in love with me. She was a really nice girl, good character, great friend. Now, I wasn't in love with her, even though she was in love with me, but I liked her a lot, okay? But I wasn't in love with her. So when I approached her, please help me, help me this and that, I'll tell you, she came running. She was there for me. And, okay, over here, I'd like to shamefully admit that I lied to her that I wanted to make the relationship work out. I just was trying to hang on to whatever I could because now I had no money, nothing. I was going to be sent off to India. And she was there for me. And once I landed in India, then I tried to come back to UAE, the suicide and all that. And okay, nothing of that sort happened. So I decided to come back to UAE. When I decided to come back to UAE, I had no place to stay. So I contacted her again. And she helped me get a place to stay. So now I was staying with her. And I'll tell you, every day I was struggling to, stand on my feet again, to start my life all over again. This girl, allowed me to stay at her place. She helped me with food. She helped me with whatever way she can. She even gave me a car when I needed it. So she was there for me in every way, shape and form. So, fine. Things were going out really well. Now, there was no thought about marriage, nothing. We were just living together as friends, as lovers, and I was not thinking of dating any other female, nothing. Now, as it went on, I was doing events, I was doing shows, I was doing training programs. And yes, I was also participating in GITEX, Now, I was staying in Sharjah. One particular night, after I finished an event, I came late night. I think it was 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. So as I came to this building, it was a building opposite Al Taun Mall. I can't remember the name of the building. Al Raisi building, I think. It was a big building, blue color. It was opposite Al Taun Mall in Sharjah. So there were literally maybe 300, 400 families staying there. It was a really big building. A lot of Arab people were staying there. So as I was coming up in the elevator, one Emirati local guy with an Arab dress, he also came in the elevator. And, I was just quiet. And then he said, "Hi, how are you?" I said, "Hi." I was tattooed and all that time. He asked me, "What do you do?" I said, "Hey, I just do events and all that." "Where?" "Oh, you stay here." Now he asked me, "You stay here?" I said, "Yes," because obviously I can't lie to him. He's saying, "Oh, okay. So you stay with your family?" I said, "Yes." Now immediately my brain started to calculate. Okay, he's asking me, do I stay with my family? Now, the problem here is, in Sharjah, bachelors cannot stay in family allocated apartments. Only family people can stay. So, if I was a family man, the apartment should be in my name, not on the lady's name, my name. And second one is, if I'm a bachelor, I'm staying there illegally. So I knew immediately, shit, This guy is an Arab local. I don't know if he's a part of the police or whatever. So I didn't like the sound of it. So he said, okay, thank you, take care. Bye. I got out first. The door closed. As soon as I got out, I was disturbed. I was like, now what the fuck to do? So I was like, okay, fine, don't panic. Maybe nothing will happen. Now, I kept that in my head. I didn't want to share it with that girl. After a few days, there was a knock on the door. Knock on the door, I open and there I see another Arab local guy wearing a, this Arab dress. And he says, yeah, I'm from the labor office, whatever. You stay here? I said, yes. He's saying, show me your ID and all that. So he wanted to find out, am I staying here? And if I'm staying here, am I married? And if I'm not married, I would be in trouble. Immediately, my brain started to work. And I told him, my passport is gone for some work in the consulate. Once I don't have it now, the ID. So he said, okay, come to the police station and you can give it there and then we can check. He said, can you give me a card and number and all that? He gave me. He asked me for my number. I don't know whether I gave him the right number, wrong number, whatever I gave him. And the door closed. The minute he went, I'll tell you, my head was racing in 100 different directions. Now I realized I had to do something. Now he already had my number, he knew where I stay. So there was no way I could escape. Now what was the choice? I couldn't run away because they'll come to the same apartment and they'll ask this girl, who was this guy? So what is the choice I had? Well, the only choice I had was to convince this girl for marriage. What else can I do? In Sharjah, you can't stay with the girl. If you are caught staying with a girl, and this is before the new law that you can stay together if you're not married, I had no other choice. So immediately I started to find out how we can get married quickly. And I found out from the consulate, you could go there, register and get married. Somehow, I don't know how, somehow I managed to get all the papers, find out all the documents, requirements. Somehow I managed to get this girl to be convinced that we had to get married. I told her about what had happened. She also panicked. She didn't know what the fuck to do. We didn't know whether to run or whatever. And I told her, since we are together, might as well get married. And mind you, at that time, my brain was only working for survival. And I was like, anyway, I'm not dating any girl. I'm not meeting any girl. Who the fuck cares? I'm with this girl only. And before you know it, we speed up the process. And we got married just to save both our asses. Mine more than hers. And so we got married. Now, why did we get divorced? See, the thing is, with this relationship, among all my the other two marriages, this one was genuine. This was honest. I really wanted this relationship to work. She was a good girl. She was perfect. The only problem was, at some point I realized I was not in love with her. Now this is after being with a girl for nearly, I think 6-7 years. Okay, imagine 6-7 years I'm with a girl. I realized I'm not in love with her. And how did I realize that? Even though I was with her, okay, we were not actively engaging in sex, it was just normal. But where I realized I was not in love with her is, number one, I didn't want to have a baby with her. Number two is, there was not much sex. I was not sexually attracted to her. I think it was the baby. I just didn't want to have a family, a baby with her. I didn't want to settle down. She kept asking about the baby and all that. And I'll tell you, I didn't have any plan. What was I going to do next? Would I move to Canada? Would I go to India? I was just staying in Dubai. But where I realized I was not in love with her was when I started to chat with other girls. I was chatting with other girls. Soon I got into the rhythm as once things started to work out well, once I started to make money and once my career was stable, once again you go back to the normal way of life. And I was going in the normal way of life, meeting girls, and I guess some bad habits die hard. I started meeting other girls and talking to other girls, and because I was into events, it's always meeting young, beautiful girls. And being a coach also, you meet a lot of potential females. And before I knew it, I got sexually involved with one girl, and next thing you know, another girl, and third girl, and fourth girl, and there was sex, and there was romance, and eventually I realized I'm not in love with this girl. I'm enjoying myself. She did catch me once cheating on her. She found out the chats. Then once again I tried to make it work. It was not working. But deep down I didn't tell her that. Deep down I knew it was not working, but I never told her that. I guess this continued until the point where I decided to leave Dubai permanently and move to Thailand. And that time there was this possibility that I would get involved with this American chick who was based in Thailand. That's another story for itself. And I decided, okay, without marriage, I'll stay in Thailand with this American chick and start a new life. But I had to burn the bridges and say goodbye to that relationship. Now, this last relationship, the divorce, it went fast. But I'll tell you, it was the hardest thing in my life. The hardest divorce I ever went through. Not hardest divorce in the sense, the decision to divorce took me a long time to make. Took me 1 to 2 years. Because I kept telling myself, should I get divorced? Shouldn't I get divorced? Let it be. Let's just go on with the flow. I think it took more than 2-3 years that I kept thinking, what should I do with this? Because I got married to her out of legal restrictions in UAE. And it was a tough one because this girl was good. She was there for me. She was an amazing human being. In fact, I even have told my wife Annie about her. I've showed her some of her photographs. She was a nice woman. She was a good lady. It's just a shame what I had to do to sort out things, to right the wrong. And I have to sadly tell you that she was the one who paid the price for it. So, but I had to do it and I had to break up because she didn't want to come down. Obviously, I didn't want to stay with her, and I knew that she didn't want to come to Thailand. So she didn't come to Thailand. She wanted to be in Dubai and move on to India. I didn't want to go to India. So eventually I had to break up. And that was it. So in a nutshell, for all the 3 divorces, in a nutshell, if I were to summarize, the first divorce, the female was a bitch. I got married to her because I was stupid in my 20s. The second female that I got married to in my 30s, I got married because my mentor, my guru, my coach, whomsoever was guiding me, he believed he was guiding me towards the right thing, and I told you the factors that were involved. He wanted to sort out my life quickly, and so I listened to him, and even though I knew 100% she was not the one, I listened to my boss and got married. That was the second mistake. The third marriage took place only because I was in UAE. An Arab local guy from the government was checking. I told him a lie that I'm married. There was no escape because you get into serious trouble. So got married the third time. I really didn't think that it would break because she was a good girl. But the third marriage, I realized that I was living a lie. I didn't have feelings for her. I liked her as a friend. She was a great friend. But I was not in love with her. I didn't want to have children with her. So what is the point? So that was the third marriage, which had to end.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.